it's Thumper the Rabid Rabbit. It's Wednesday, February 6th. We're just about 12 hours away from the major wipe for the month with the new releases to the main branch. I am on the staging branch update just before release here, and some exciting new things to show you with the electrical components. First of all, the RF transmitter has a new model. It doesn't look like an oil lamp anymore. Looks like this cool radio transmitter with some antenna on top. And if you listen carefully, you can hear it makes a lot of buzzing noise. Additionally, its companion, the RF receiver, now looks like a directional beam antenna, and it also makes some static electricity noise. That's a lot harder to hear, but it does exist. And some bug fixes and refinements. You can pick up the two new lights now, which is great. You can also pick up the HBHF. So we can pick up all the new components now. You can pick up the transmitter and you can pick up the receiver. So all those new components can now be picked up, so that's going to be important. And it's also a good sign that maybe they're on track for release tomorrow, because they have models and everything's working and you can pick it all up. So that's a great sign. The draw distance rendering engine thing I showed you with the components on the wall there disappearing, that still exists. That's still a thing. I'm still suspicious that has something to do with the new Unity engine upgrade, but there's no real assurance that that's not going to be like a client thing or server thing that's fixed before release tomorrow. So, and honestly, it's not that big a deal. I don't know that anybody really cares if their electrical components stop drawing 4 squares away. It's a little confusing and maybe a nice defensive mechanism against people trying to shoot out your components from too far of a distance. But yeah, so it looks like all these components are working now. One of my other complaints about the so-called siren light was that it doesn't make any sound, and I just figured that was a language difference between me being an American and thinking of this as a beacon light, not a siren light. I think in other countries it's probably called a siren light, but I was disappointed that it didn't make sound. But I'm no longer disappointed, because look, a remodel of the speaker has appeared, and it's called, let me show it to you here, the audio alarm. And guess what? It makes sound too. That's right. The boy, what is that? The simplex fire alarm default from a commercial fire alarm system. It's just annoying enough to make you want to scratch your eyes out. But oh, here, let me hook it up again. Let me legit hook it up directly to a power source so it stays on. Now we can see how far we can hear it. Get it like 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 squares. Oh, I can barely hear it. Right about here. So tends to make me think it'll be good for hearing inside or around your base when somebody sets it off. Probably not going to hear it too far away from your base though. So hey Face Punch, how about nudge nudge wink wink loudspeaker alarm? That's ridiculously loud and can be heard, for a great distance across the map. You got the model, just crank up the range for us maybe and give us a cool like horn model for it or something. Love what's going on here. Alright, so no change that I can tell to the pager or the detonator. I know it's going to be renamed for release, but I don't think it's renamed in here yet. Still called RF detonator. it may be getting renamed to RF Broadcaster. I don't care if it stays as detonator. I just want it to be able to pair C4 with a pager and have remote explosives. I have it tuned to the frequency of the pager, so pager still does the same thing. It still makes noise. Alright. There you go. There's your Wednesday, February 6th Rust electricity component updates. These sure look ready for prime time, so I'm excited to see whether they make it to release or not tomorrow. Despite the fact that the one thing I'm doing most here is showcasing Rust electricity and Rust electricity components and how to use Rust electricity, the number one question I was asked after my last preview of these staging electrical components, or the components in the staging branch, was, where's the Minicopter? Well, I tried to spawn the Minicopter and it didn't exist. But today, check this out. You can spawn the Minicopter. So, somewhere in the last 48 hours, the Minicopter became a thing in the staging branch as a spawnable component. It does work. The first time I spawned it on this server, it basically crashed the server. It didn't crash the server, but I couldn't interact with components and pick up things or do anything else anymore. So, it either crashed the server or it really pissed off the client, one of the two. So I don't know if that means if maybe the Minicopter's not quite ready for prime time yet, or maybe I was just unlucky. But I did try it again and it seemed pretty stable the second time I tried it. It didn't seem to crash anything. It does make the server console go nutso, but that's nothing for you to worry about as a user. But here you go, the Minicopter. It does fly, in fact. And despite the fact that I am a certified pilot in real life, this thing does not quite fly as easy as that. So, but it does fly. And it took me a long time to figure out how to get the hot air balloon to land on top of the dome and the lighthouse. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot easier to do with the Minicopter. Oh, I didn't expect that. Yeah, so anyway, I drowned after crashing the Minicopter into the water, because that's what happens when you crash in the water and die. But back here with the new electricity components, which are these lights are running for no apparent reason because they're not triggered right now. So, hey, it's Rust. Bugs still exist. Ta-da! But for the most part, all these electrical components are working fairly well, so hopefully we'll see them in the release branch, and we might even see that Minicopter. So, let's see what happens tomorrow after wipe. Everybody, good luck, and don't suck.